welcome.
I'm gonna start a little different right now.
To fuck Donald Trump. Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, fuck Donald Trump.
Yeah. Off the top. You know what I'm saying? Welcome to This Week in White Supremacy. My name is Jasiri X. I'm co-founder and CEO of One Hood Media. Hey yo, the allergies got me in a headlock right now. You know what I'm saying? Like it's crazy allergy season, but we're making it through. To my immediate right.
It's a miracle.
What happened to the other
It's
one?
a miracle.
It's on the other roadcast.
Oh.
So don't touch the table today?
Is this a...
Let's try not to.
Okay. Oh, all right.
Am I mayhem? Am I man-hating miracle?
I mean,
I don't know.
Who do you want to be today?
Miracle. I really don't know.
Man-hating miracle got a lot of views.
You know, it's my favorite pastime.
Is hating a man?
A lot of comments.
Yes.
You know what you could be? You could be manslaughter.
Oh.
Manslaughter miracle.
We
she
probably
hates
shouldn't.
man's laughter.
Oh, wow.
She hates a man's laughter.
Because
Damn.
why is a man laughing when you've been creating all this chaos? Like,
I don't know if we should talk about manslaughter this particular episode. Maybe
Okay.
Why?
a follow-up episode. Our number one topic, Farouk. But we'll talk about that.
oh, yes.
I think it's
no
appropriate.
violence. No violence.
Yeah, no
that.
violence.
But it's a miracle, a.k.a. Big Blessing. The Big Blessing. Happy to be here. And I have not killed a man, so...
Yes. Yes.
Episode's not, it was just starting.
And my brother.
It's your boy Trouble in the Last. Niggas look sporty.
Okay, yeah. Absolutely.
Let's see. Niggas loathe slaughter.
Yes, come on
We're
now.
not talking about that today.
Yes,
I'm saying next
yes.
level shaman, you know the deal.
You know the deal. And my brother.
Yeah, the Supreme Asiatic Intelligently Divine clearly debated the existence of the Caucasian kind.
Okay.
Oh, I mean, when you have a show called This Week in White Supremacy, what happens 9 times out of 10 is people comment without even listening
Oh yeah, 1,000%.
to the show. Because if you listen to it and you listen to like facts, like undisputable facts, then
what do we deal with? Actual facts.
actual facts.
We
Absolutely,
deal with actual
absolutely.
facts. Come on, man.
But they don't want to do that. So we do get a lot of comments. We do get a lot. Like if you want to see the face of racism,
Just go to our comment section.
go on our Facebook
But
page.
thank you for boosting the algorithm.
Yes, go on our Facebook page and just read the comments and memes.
I love it personally. Like
Full
I love
of the ultimate racism. You know what I'm saying?
it's some of it's funny.
Yeah.
Racism
And
do be funny sometimes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
racism do be funny, man. And you know what I think is funny though is like the people who clearly don't watch it think we're just like this unapologetic mouthpiece for the Democrats. We have the official Democratic back kicker right there.
Yeah, yes. But also it's the thing of like you just see white supremacy, so automatically
You're triggered.
You're like, yeah, exactly. Wait, you're black, blah, 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 you know, all of this stuff. Although like we're watching these white supremacist programs very similar to Nazi Germany, like unfold before our eyes. I mean, we watch like them like, did you see the thing where Trump put out like the Photoshop of the man's hand? Where it was like clearly somebody like Photoshopped MS-13 on his knuckles. Like this is his hand. He has MS-13 on his knuckles. And it was clearly, it looked like a typewriter, like letters.
I
And
did
again-
see. I seen one that was like trying to break down tattoos, and it was like, how come no one has done this for Pete Hegseth's tattoos yet?
Oh, well, I mean, yeah, and there's some Pete Hegseth news, but breaking news after
Oh my! God.
dropping and demolishing the national championship trophy, JD Vance decided to one up himself
And drop and demolish the Catholic leader of the world.
because JD Vance was the last. You know when somebody dies, and they're like, "Who's the last person that we saw you with?"
We're no longer calling him Jizz Dumpster. His name is Just Deaf.
Oh, shit. All right.
Just Deaf Vance. Because when he met the Pope, all he brought was just deaf.
He said, just die.
I do feel bad for the Pope like that.
Yeah, I mean, for JD Vance being the last person you see
Damn,
before death, yeah, I'm like, God, can you give me a do-over? Like, I've been doing great my whole life.
Wow.
Let me run this
So-
one
I
back.
saw a tweet that it was like JD Vance did not kill the Pope. The
His
Pope,
haircut?
The Pope saw JD Vance and lost his will. they're like,
Wow. He's in
slight
charge?
difference.
Yo, you know what's crazy? You know what's crazy to me?
Oh, what's crazy to you?
this nigga actually has children.
Yeah.
Like JD Vance actually procreated.
Well, we don't remember.
Yeah. Well, couches can't give birth.
He called the children her children.
Right.
So he didn't say our children.
Right.
He said her children. So are those actually the progeny of JD Vance? We don't
Yo,
theory.
yo, this nigga can't nut through a chastity belt.
Wow.
She got him bound up, man.
There is.
Wow.
I mean, killing the Pope goes along a long history of destabilizing religious leaders when
True.
it comes to
Come on, Miracle. Drop
Western imperialism. But we're going to stay with the jokes, right?
Yes.
This idea
Yes.
of the fact that, like,
Maybe he is the jizz dumpster after all.
Or is he the Antichrist? Like, was JD Vance the Antichrist?
Well, we thought it was Trump the whole time. Meanwhile, it was JD Vance back there.
It's crazy.
Nutting in couches.
Man.
I think it's sad because he obviously used his platform to do a
Unalive
lot.
the Pope.
That was for the Pope. The Pope used his platform to do a lot of good in the world.
And see what that got him.
Man.
Face to face to JD Vance, but just deaf Vance. Hey, give it a fuck when it ain't your turn, Pope Francis.
Also, I do like the fact that the Pope, like, when you look at the pictures, they're not in an office.
Nah.
Like
the Pope was with the people.
Yeah.
The Pope was like, bring that nigga through this hallway.
He
You know
said,
what I'm
the
saying?
Pope
Like,
said he had a lesson in compassion for JD Vance.
the Pope didn't stand up. Like, the Pope
Nah.
was like, nah, bro, you come here.
I'm the Pope, nigga.
Yeah.
Like, kiss the ring.
No, but I was gonna say, like, did
Somebody
A
said
lot.
JD Vance can't be the Antichrist. The Antichrist is supposed to be charismatic.
Oh, shit. Wow.
Oh, no. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Miracle.
going to say
please.
the Pope did a lot of things,
Oh, my
restoring
God.
the Catholic Church.
Yes.
After the fact that they were caught,
Yes.
harming
Harming
children,
children, yeah.
violating
For decades.
children.
For decades, yes.
Really went down and tried to
Went
lead
down
by
is a terrible choice of words.
Wow.
Terrible.
next package.
Right. But he
Next
also,
Next package is even worse.
He also, like you said, the Pope was a strong, very outspoken advocate for immigrants.
Yes.
Supposedly during this meeting with JD Vance, he talked about America's horrible policies towards immigrants.
Yeah.
Right now, I mean, Trump is in complete defiance of the Supreme Court and openly defying it, right? Openly saying, like, the rule of law doesn't exist, but just how immigrants are being treated. They also said that, the Pope was also an advocacy for a ceasefire in the Middle East. They were saying that, he would talk to the Catholic priests in Gaza like every day. And he also in his finals address talked about that. Advocating for like the safety of children everywhere. So the Pope himself was, I guess this was the first Latino Pope, I believe.
Yeah, Pope Francis. Yeah,
Right. And so he was somebody that, like Miracle said, did use his platform. The Pope gives you kind of a bully pulpit to talk about, things that we should do to help poor people all over what is a Christian is supposed to do. And, he's like, here is, JD Vance represents this new Christian concept, like this Christian nationalism.
Would you mean white supremacists?
100%. Right. And so Pope probably looked like, damn, this is the next generation of Christians. Yeah, I'm out. You know what I'm saying?
But
take me to Jesus right
it's
now.
It's interesting because as the Pope is gone, we have somebody who's already occupying office looking to have two at the same time.
Well, I think that the question, right, obviously when the Pope passed, and I don't know if did anybody else have any comments or
More
thoughts
jokes?
on the Pope? No, actually thoughts on the Pope passing. It is, obviously.
I think anytime you see, because how many popes have we seen in our lifetime?
I can't call it.
I honestly don't know.
Yeah.
Not has
I
it
don't
been a
keep
lot?
up with that religion.
Yeah.
I think though, but it is sad because he has done so much, and I think the Pope prior to him was in the Nazi party, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh.
He did belong to the Nazis at some point. But this Pope was a true humanitarian Pope. Hopefully we don't hear anything about his scandals like Mother Teresa or something like that. But he did a lot to amplify humanitarian efforts on the globe.
Yes.
And, may God be pleased with him. May God be pleased with the Pope, Pope Francis.
They said Trump is
Seemed
going
like a
to
solid nigga to me.
Trump is going to attend his funeral.
Why?
To make sure that JD Vance did his job. Trump got to see the body.
Trump is going to knock the casket over.
You got to make sure, like, yo, did you do what you're supposed to? And again, like like JD Vance being like the most awkward, like weird. I don't know. It's
does this make JD Vance like Antoine Chigurh in No Country for Old Men?
He definitely. That's his kind of his piece. Yeah.
I feel like moving forward, people probably shouldn't shake his hand.
No one should ever touch JD Vance under any
Yeah.
circumstance. His wife don't even want to touch him.
Yeah. Yeah.
I bet you every couch in the Oval Office has plastic on it.
Oh shit.
Like when JD Vance come around.
Hey, that's just protection of him.
For
whatever reason, Trump said Melania and I are going to the funeral of Pope Francis. We look forward to being there with an exclamation point.
Wow.
That's kind of weird. But like you said, like
Trump's gonna be like, put that nigga in the dirt now.
yeah. It said,
6 feet isn't enough.
oh wow. The question is who's going to replace the Pope?
We already know who.
Well, it's interesting because,
It's a race.
MAGA would, and to be honest, like MAGA would want to see President and Pope Trump. Like, so Trump is basically the MAGA of the Pope of MAGA already.
Yeah.
Right? Like, they don't look at him as a political figure. They look at him as a religious figure, like a figure to idolize and worship. Is
you know what?
exactly
And it's
how they
crazy
look at him.
because there's a specific part of the Bible where Aaron and Moses are on the mountain. And Moses goes to get the commandments from God. And he leaves Aaron in charge of the people. And what happens? They are upset with Aaron and God and create a golden calf statue and say, you know what? We like the old way better.
Yeah.
And then God was pissed. And what happened just a few years ago with the Republican National Convention in 2019? People created a golden Trump statue.
Yes.
That was
Yes.
made in Mexico.
It was also interesting because Butch Body Bigot, who we, y'all call her Marjorie Taylor Greene. I call her Butch Body Bigot, actually tweeted out.
Mayonnaise Taylor Greene.
She tweeted out there were major shifts in global leadership. Evil is being defeated by the hand of God. Like
is JD Vance God?
Moments
is that
after
what she's saying?
The Pope died. So that was also kind of a weird thing. It's like, what? You know what I'm saying? But again, we know she's like a wild conspiracy theorist, whatever. Ironically, again, this is weird, right? You have Trump making comments about Christianity.
Can I play this clip?
JD Vance is sent to Rome. The Pope dies. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, here's Donald Trump on his place in the pantheon of Christianity.
Oh, my God.
This is Donald Trump, you all.
Nobody has done more for Christianity. Nobody has done more for religion of all type than me. And they're really doing things now and I've always said it, they are against organized religion. They're against Christianity.
Let me play it. Hold on.
Play it one more time.
In case you missed it.
One more time.
He actually said this.
He said this.
Nobody has done more for Christianity. Nobody has done more for religion of all type than me.
Of all types.
And
That's crazy.
This nigga said,
the narcissism.
this dude said, hey, he said, what?
None of you.
What? He said,
None
what?
of you
What?
have religion.
Jesus?
No,
Jesus, nigga. I've done more for Christianity than anyone.
Me. Dalai Lama.
Anyone.
Who? Fuck
What?
that nigga.
What?
I got
Jesus?
Trump Tower, nigga.
Jesus, John, like what? You like who? Like the apostles?
I bet you.
None of them.
King Solomon ain't never stayed at the Trump Hotel, did he? No, nigga. He can't even get in through the back door. Queen of Sheba, I got Melania Trump, nigga. Fuck is you talking about?
saying nobody's done more for Christianity when Jesus is right there.
The 12 disciples, you mean the Donald, nigga?
Poor John editing this episode.
Is insane, bro. Nobody,
and not just Christianity,
Yeah,
all religion.
Yes.
The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Get him out of there.
No. Buddha,
no,
gotta go.
Out of there. Right, like you said, Dalai Lama, gone.
Gotta go, man.
See you later.
Confucius, gotta
Nothing.
go.
Nothing. All religions.
The Easter Bunny, who?
He said, "Call me Donald Selassie, bro."
Like Selassie is Trump, man. Like, yo,
crazy.
Like what? Santa Claus, nigga?
Yes.
No,
Yes.
This is yo.
Oh, Saint Don.
I just, again, like, but this is your king, right?
This
Like,
is your king.
your-
No, it's God. It's God, Emperor Trump, man.
I guess God would be. He said nobody has done. I guess, does God own that list? Nobody.
Oh, wow.
He's done more for religion than anybody. You can't name anybody. Miracle, do you have a comment on?
That's y'all's Jesus.
Oh wow, y'all's
Y'all's Jesus.
my Jesus, Orange Jesus. What they call him? Didn't they call him Cheeto Jesus? Wasn't that the name?
It just boggles
Sherbert
the mind
Jesus.
because like
Yes.
this is supposed to be blasphemy, right?
Yeah,
Like,
1,000%.
these
Yes.
hardcore Bible thumpers.
Yes.
You're supposed to have no other gods before me, right?
Yeah.
Right.
You're not supposed.
God is a jealous God.
What is happening here? So
Yeah.
I mean, maybe.
I mean, it's not. Listen,
What's happening here is Miracle. I mean, like, see, I think y'all are quoting the Bible. Like, stop trying to make people read. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
know
they
niggas
just
can't
want to.
I mean,
They just want to suck
Have
up
fun?
to Donald. Well, again, to them, Donald Trump
much-
represents like the white race coming back and like taking their right, like putting these black people. You know, there was this whole video I just somebody had just sent me yesterday about like Trump specifically trying to destroy the African American Museum.
Yeah.
Like specifically name like that museum in his executive order. And it's like to these white Trump supporters, that's what they want to see.
Yeah.
They want to see like the gains that black and brown people have made, you know, and really all people of color, they just want to see them out. And they want to see like, so to them, it's like a game.
Yes.
And their team Trump. And it's like, do all the things to these horrible people. You know what I'm saying? In their mind. So, yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
JD Vance killed the Pope.
I mean, well,
no,
I would say allegedly because we don't want,
Allegedly.
you know what I mean, somebody to come and, you know, say
If
that.
there's any merit to what would you say Bush body bigot said?
Yes.
Then I feel like Trump should watch his head for real.
I mean, again, like,
Because him being around JD Vance?
I mean,
No,
well,
because
she
if-
said,
if-
evil.
Yeah, if God is eradicating evil, then Trump should look over his shoulder
I
twice.
mean, it
Maybe Marjorie Taylor Greene will go too.
Yeah.
yeah. So, I want to come to you, Miracle, on this. It says, the Supreme Court ruled.
We need Miracle versus Marjorie. That's what we need.
Oh, wow.
Stop trying to. Listen, I need a mental health day. I don't need more evilness.
You know who will
and
moderate that
stress.
debate? Nancy Pelosi.
Miracle versus Marjorie is crazy.
What's wrong with you?
The Supreme Court
Hi, yes.
temporarily blocked the Trump administration from deporting Venezuelan immigrants, right? So basically, again, Trump sent all of these people out of the country without any due process, without a trial. And, you know, the Supreme Court ruled, well, one, they ruled 9-0 that it's the responsibility of the Trump administration to bring Mr. Garcia back. They have not done that. And then they also just said they cannot use. What's going on, brother?
Just keep going. Just keep going.
Keep going.
Just keep going. Just please, just keep
You
going.
know where JD Vance's favorite seat is?
Please stop.
Where?
The love seat.
That's
Okay.
that is the man
All
you
right.
chose.
All right.
To bond with, to talk about your life struggles
So
with,
Miracle.
to go on trips with, to have in your. I just want you to
Yes. So
take a moment and
Mir-
just reflect on your decisions.
So Miracle.
Sounded kind of suspect.
Donald Trump slammed the Supreme Court decision.
More men need friends.
And Donald Trump basically said, quote, America cannot give everyone a trial. Again,
What?
yes.
Wait, what?
Yes. Donald Trump, the founder, the
founder of Christianity?
The person who did more for Christianity in all religions,
All religions.
said America cannot give everyone a trial.
You know what? He's not wrong, though, because,
He's not.
when has America ever given anybody a fair trial?
Well, he didn't say fair trial.
The N word.
He said cannot give everybody a trial, period. Miracle.
Yes. I mean,
What's up? Where are we
this
going?
man has. This is why people once again said this chaos that Trump is creating is meant to destroy the rule of law.
Yeah.
You unilaterally just decided a whole class of persons
Yes.
would not be able to legally stay within the borders of the United States and did not sit there and follow law. So no, you are not going to be able. I think someone said to either 10 million or 20 million people, give them trials and have hearings.
Right. And
Right?
you had actually said that, like when we first talked about Trump's immigration stuff, you actually said they're not going to be able to do this because of the process that they have to go through to actually deport somebody. They're saying, we're just going to put you on planes and send you to El Salvador. Fuck the process.
Correct.
And obviously against the Constitution of the United States. And Trump is saying, yo, we don't have to do that.
And of course, I guess you do. And again, there is a contract. The El Salvadorian contract is a private prison that is running a enslavement concentration camp because they're forcing people to work within these institutions for products that they are selling. When they say this is a self-sustaining operation, they mean they are using these men for labor, right?
Yeah.
So number one. Number two, when you keep saying, oh, this person no longer has protected status, you're literally telling people who came the right way, who
Right.
came the legal way, who are forced to flee their home countries due to U.S. involvement within their own country, such as with the situation in Venezuela, that they are now forced to leave.
Right.
And it's like, when we're looking at the Bhutanese community, they're deporting people from Pennsylvania, from the Bhutanese community, and now they're stateless. There's nowhere for these folks to go.
Yes.
There's no passports. There's no identification that folks have. So they're literally just being dropped off in countries, and there's nowhere for them to go. And so instead of saying, you know what, we are going to go through this international process, find places to put people, it's either we put you in prison or we drop you off somewhere and best of luck to you. And it's horrific. There was a report that said, you know, we were on the verge of helping not necessarily to cure cancer, but to better identify cancer and to better screen for cancer. But the one of the lead researchers we just put in ICE custody.
Yeah.
We are losing so much technology and information and resources the way we are doing this. And I would want to be very clear. It doesn't have to be a student or a researcher. It could be someone who is washing dishes or someone who is a laborer. Putting people in ICE custody is a problem.
Right.
Rounding up people and deporting people is a problem. And I will keep saying that if we do not want immigrants within our borders, we have to stop destroying and destabilizing other countries.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Whether it is putting and propping up fascist leaders and dictators, whether it's trying to use our resources to kill people's economies like we see in the trade war with Canada and China, or if it's literally dropping bombs like we see in Syria and Lebanon and in Gaza. If we do not want immigrants here, we could just be better partners of like, you know what, we're just going to trade with people fairly. We're going to pay people a fair wage, but instead we have people literally ignoring the Supreme Court and barreling us down into a war that I do not think we can win. I don't think we can win a war with China. We've seen Russia is been able to keep Ukraine and attack Ukraine. All of these people, and let's be very honest, if America gets attacked, we're not going to have a 9/11 support if America gets attacked.
Oh, no, not now.
At this
No,
point,
no.
everybody's going to be like, I kind of see why.
I mean, they just killed the Pope. I mean, come on.
Allegedly.
At this point, I don't see Canada and Britain and
No.
UK. I don't see
Mexico.
Any,
You think Mexico?
You saw the
help us
lady,
out?
I think it's the prime minister of Italy, like she was like rolling her eyes.
Yeah.
Like I mean, it was like a little bit exaggerated. I don't see any of our European partners
Absolutely
coming
not.
to defend us. I think I'm like, you know what? America's the problem.
And this is the piece, right? Because what's interesting, well, so Trump said, quote, "We cannot give everyone a trial because to do so would take, without exaggeration, 200 years. We need hundreds of thousands of trials for the hundreds of thousands of illegals we are sending out of the country. Such a thing is not possible. What a ridiculous situation we're in. Oh my
It
God."
almost sounds like the justice system is broken. Is
Right.
that what
Well,
you're saying?
well, also it's like, well, you aren't you supposed to know how this process works?
You should, in
like
theory.
if you're gonna say, but again, if you feel like, oh, I can just do what I want to do. So I actually think it's interesting because, you know, Trump has this quote unquote super majority on the Supreme Court, but the Supreme Court is aware that if Trump could just ignore them, they don't have any power.
Yeah.
Like, so what's the point of being a Supreme Court justice if you don't even have any power in that position?
Right.
And so I feel like this is why you see the Supreme Court pushing back on Donald Trump, because he's literally saying like, your rulings don't matter to me.
This is
What you're
literally
doing
the
don't
snake
matter.
eating its own tail.
Yeah, I mean, but here's again, this is the man, and they're saying, "Oh, we're working on a third term." So the same people that were talking about, I carry the Constitution with me all the time. The Constitution is the bedrock of our, this is what these Republicans say all the time.
Bedrock of our democracy.
Right. And you see somebody like openly flouting it. But again, if you don't see him as a president and you see him as this religious cult-like figure, then you don't care what he does. You support whatever he does, even if it's at your own detriment.
Please, my brother who is a man, do not interrupt.
Oh, go ahead, Mary.
What did you say? Keep your friends close and your enemies
Yes,
closer?
yes.
Maybe we should have realized when they said they had the Constitution with them all the time.
Oh, to know how to
that
circumvent
they
that
hated.
shit.
They're doing the 48 laws of power
Yes.
and being like, this is the thing I must destroy.
Yes.
And kill. But like,
Well played, Miracle.
yay, I got one for today. But no, I think that I saw this girl. I forgot where I'm very mad, and maybe trouble because you're on TikTok. You may know you're not on TikTok.
Nope.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not either. But she said, part of white supremacy is this idea that people would rather suffer as long as they know black people are suffering,
Yes.
than to live in lavish and splendor next to black people.
Absolutely.
And part of all of this constitutional crisis is that we are finding ourselves in is that folks just don't want black people to have the same rights
Yes.
and freedoms that they
Yes.
are having.
Yes.
When we're looking at our domestic policy,
Yeah.
paying people a living wage, making sure people have, housing and healthcare, all these universal supports that we would just be a normal Western society, we do not have based on the fact that there's so much anti-blackness within our systems. We look at what Japan's doing for their community, what Israel's doing for their community, what the UK is doing, what Germany is doing.
China,
China.
all of our Western, countries that we always compare ourselves, they have paid sick leave.
Yeah.
They have paid family
They have
leave.
extended maternity leave. They have
Sweden,
these.
all
That's
these
why they can
places.
have children, Trump and JD Vance.
It's just like when we're talking about why is America in such a rut, it is because we have not had that domestic infrastructure. And I think of
Correct.
when Biden did his bill, he had the two bills, and they're like, do not separate the bills. We need the physical infrastructure bill, and we need the build better bill for the community investments.
Not the bad built butch body bill.
We need the child tax credits, and people were like, no, right? We almost
You almost
erased-
got that with No Child Left Behind.
no. For the child care tax credits, we almost erased childhood hunger,
Yes.
and now we're just back at pre-pandemic levels. And so these are the things
Because that's America, Miracle. Like, that is what people want to see, is they want to see They want to have something that they could point at and say, I'm not that anymore. Or I'm not that. I'm not this.
But at your own detriment.
Right. Yeah. This is all uplifting what Miracle is saying.
It's the dying of whiteness book, right? Where you didn't want health care because you didn't want black people to live longer, right? So you rather deny yourself. You rather die.
Yeah.
Think about
it. Cut your nose off to spite your face.
They're saying that this April was the worst performance in Wall Street on the Dow Jones since the Great Depression.
Yeah.
Like, you rather see the economy collapse, and you rather pay back your student loans, and you rather pay $15 for some eggs, as long as it means like there's no more DI. Right. Oh, but we don't have any more DI, so that's a win.
Someone posted up a comment on one of our videos about like all the foreign aid money or all the foreign money that's coming in to bolster the American economy. And who is this helping? Like, this is not helping an average American citizen, right? This is like all of these foreign dollars aren't coming here to contribute to the quality of life of Joe and John Smith America, with 3.5 children and the white picket fence that's in the houses being foreclosed. Right, like that shit is of no consequence to a middle American.
Right, but even if let's say like some car company comes and says, "Yo, we're gonna start building our cars in America."
You're not gonna be able to afford it.
Well, this is the thing. When are those jobs going to be available?
Right.
Like,
how long is it going to take to open a plant? Yeah, you got to build the plant. You have to staff. You know what I mean? Like,
so by that time, like, will you even be alive? Like, will you have made it financially through that time? This is why, like, Trump's numbers are falling.
Exactly. Like, at that time, you could have walked across the street and accidentally touched shoulders with JD Vance, and that's it. That's it for you.
And at the same time,
no Toyotas for you, nigga.
What's wild is, okay, so you done gave us like the worst stock market we've ever seen since the 20s, right?
Yeah.
Prices have not gone down.
Eggs are more expensive than chicken.
Yes. Which is crazy. What came first, right? That's crazy.
Wasn't JD Vance.
You're talking about...
Oh my.
Well, was there a couch around? Maybe. Maybe it was.
This is where we are.
As a people in 2025.
on the floor.
This is America.
Yes. So, but also, like, and then at the same time, you're saying we want people to have more babies and more children?
Absolutely
How?
not.
It's like you're creating...
We got to fill the prisons up. That's why.
I mean, again, it's like you're creating this environment where you're firing thousands of people. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? The 1,000 people, I forgot about that part, right?
Yeah.
Still getting fired. And so, like, how are folks going to afford to have more children? Based on what? You're taking away, you're talking about taking away these federal protections that have helped poor people. And newsflash for the people that comment on our Facebook page, the majority of poor people in the United States are white. So...
No, they're not.
I feel like what he's trying to do essentially is, like, of course, increase the white population, but also increase the amount of consumers for the billionaire class to just,
But if you're saying you would get $5,000 baby bonus to every American, that just doesn't mean white Americans. And right now, like, do they think that, like, less black and brown people will have babies if they get 5,000 and more white people will have babies? Like, how does this work? And what are you thinking?
I feel like there's a joke in there to be made.
Miracle?
I'm not going to make it.
Should more women be having children in this dispensation of time?
Why are you asking me?
I'm just
curious.
You're over here, so
why would you think I would have something to say about this?
Somebody said topic? It's wild because, Trump, Hegseth, and Musk have a lot of children.
They do have a lot of children.
Not traditionally, you know what I'm saying? But they got a lot of children.
But my thing is, have you seen the men we have to procreate with?
Oh.
Yeah, JD Vance's wife did, and that's why.
that is the issue. That is the problem.
The Pope did, and he just decided this world was...
Could you imagine Donald Trump heaving on top of you?
But again, the white birth rate is what they're worried about.
Is that a pause, brother?
I'm asking Miracle.
Wait, what?
Ask yourself that. Ask yourself that. Do not ask me that.
I don't know if I want to have that visual.
Exactly. So why would I want to have that visual?
Maybe you get some money.
It says
maybe you get some money.
Maybe you get some money on.
Maybe you can get some
you probably get some money too.
Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, how's your couch look? It says last month.
I got a red leather couch.
Last month, Mr. Trump, or President Trump, said he's going to be the fertilization president.
Wow.
Whoa.
Again.
Whoa.
I have friends who getting married, having children, and the conversations that they talk about are about the environment, are about like, will we be able to support our children in 5 years and 10 years? Will we be able to purchase a home? So I do think that if Trump is serious about, getting people to get married and have children, he is going to have to do away with these student loans. He is going to have to get Americans out of debt, and he's going to be able to create better jobs. I think the Doge was horrible. If you were talking about cutting, waste, first thing you should have done was done a single payer system. The most waste and the most
that would help too many black and brown people.
The most waste is the fact that because we have multiple payer systems, things are coded incorrectly, right? So if you would have had Doge, like, this is our new medical coding system, this is what everybody's going to use, whether it's public or private healthcare, bam, saving millions of dollars. And next thing you would have done, of course, is get world peace, because the biggest expenditure that the United States has,
JD Vance just torpedoed world peace.
The Department of Defense, right? You would have reestablished like the UN and allowed for like third parties to have access to the UN, so you could use diplomacy, so you wouldn't have to like drop bombs. Right. You would have, given student loans. You would have done a reinvestment into Social Security, maybe legalization.
I think actually, Miracle, that like Trump and his people do listen to you, and they're like, everything Miracle says, we're just going to do the opposite. Whatever Miracle is suggesting, we're going to do the exact. He's done the opposite on everything. He's alienated even the friendly countries to the United States. He's done the opposite on every measure that you mentioned.
That's actually impressive, though.
Impressively bad?
I mean, just to get the world against America.
Yes.
This is the thing I've been saying, right? And I've been saying it in jest, but there's a little bit of truth to what I've been saying. JD Vance does fuck couches.
Oh my goodness.
And
America's the couch.
Yeah. No, Trump has, maybe, again, I keep saying the same thing every episode almost. Maybe Trump is going to end racism. He's uniting the world against America.
Definitely.
And it's like,
he got China, Korea, and Japan to come together.
Like Jesus Christ, man.
Literally.
Literally.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Like,
would you call Trump
Pope of the United States?
Pope of the United States.
Pope of the United States. He's the new POTUS, man.
Blasphemous shit.
Yeah.
It really is, but like, maybe again, Trump is the reckoning. Maybe he is, man. Maybe this is like some biblical sign that this is the end of days. Cats and dogs getting together.
Yeah.
Like,
it does look like that. And so again, if that's the case, why, to Miracle's point, why would you even think about bringing a child into the world at this time? Why would you want to? And even if you say $5,000, what's $5,000 get you?
2 eggs.
I mean, they're talking about we're going to garnish your wages if you cannot pay back these student loans.
When nothing goes,
I mean, what the hell?
Nothing flavors accountability omelets like garnished wages.
I mean, this is crazy, bro. What the hell? So again, like,
I'm cooking right now.
Yeah. You're cooking all right. Not eggs, but you're cooking. You know what I'm saying?
I actually got 1 egg left in my fridge.
Hilarious.
Sometimes I just buy the $17 eggs and just let them sit there.
Well, again, while this is all and it's like, I'm gonna be honest, like,
how you like your eggs? Fried or fertilized? Remember that song?
No, but obviously Trump likes them fertilized. And so does Elon Musk.
JD Vance don't.
So I totally forgot what I was gonna say.
Oh my God.
I'm gonna be honest, we knew Trump's president was going to be bad. Like his presidency. Yeah. Like we knew that.
I mean, the writing was on
I
the wall.
don't think I understood
how bad it was going to get.
It was going to get to this level.
So quick.
This quick.
Yeah, if you would have told me, okay, in the first quarter of the year,
Yes.
X, Y, and Z is going to happen, I'm like,
Yes.
that's actually impossible.
If you were gonna say like,
That it
okay,
can't like the Pope died, the stock market crashed.
yes, in 4 months,
Way all
and not
this
just that the Pope died, but the Pope died after meeting JD Vance.
Like, there's no way all of this could happen.
Right.
We're still, it's as of today, it is 22 April.
Yes,
We're
yes,
not even out of
yes.
April yet.
And then again, like the whole thousands of people got fired. The economy collapses. A terror of war. All of our allies alienated. And for the second time.
And the Steelers still don't have a quarterback.
That's crazy. But for the second time, like Peach Hegseth,
The Peach Hedgehog.
texting again.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? And this time he put.
Till they fold that bitch, no yoga mat. Check.
Okay. Again, you do things, and our audience has no idea what that's from or what that means. Anyway, so this time, Peach Hegseth took to Signal to let his family know. Right? It wasn't
What's worse?
the journalists, or so
Yeah.
he tweeted sensitive information to his wife, I think his brother-in-law, his mother and father might have been on this chat.
I thought his mom doesn't talk to him
Information
anymore.
like what?
Actual this is when this attack is going to happen.
Why do they need to know? Like, they're not living there.
Yo, this nigga is just hitting reply all. You know what I mean? The motherfucker that just replies all. And you're like, yo, you weren't supposed to, I don't want to be involved in the reply all.
Guess
just
what?
reply to that motherfucker that sent you the email.
Yo, Pete,
That's just-
he has to be getting everybody ready for the RICO. Like, he's like, they can't indict us all.
Again, I mean, why are you using Signal in the first place? And then again, like, what is, I don't know. Miracle, do you have any is supposedly the Pentagon is in disarray, and the White House is looking now to replace Pete Hegseth as, a guy who, claimed the fame was
3 chipmunks in a trench coat? Like,
and at least they can't text nobody. That actually will be safer at this point.
Yeah.
The Pentagon's in disarray, but bombs have been dropping, and the United States has been threatening to kill people every single day, right?
Yes.
So the war machine's on. I think that Pete Hegseth was someone who espoused white
Nationalism.
Christian
Yeah.
nationalism.
Absolutely. Has
And
the tattoos. Yeah.
was there as a figurehead to be disrespectful, who took it, had tattooed this anti-Islamic phrase on his chest a couple of weeks ago to talk about how he disrespected Islam. So I think that he became more of a liability.
Yes.
Just in general for the Trump administration,
Yes.
and especially when we are rapidly going to possibly be in a war in the next year. You kind of can't do that. You need someone that people believe
at least
in,
we'll know. At least we'll know when the war is coming. This nigga gonna text us. And
I'm about to say, we're going to have a heads up.
Yo,
we're going to have at least 48 hours heads up, man. You know what I mean?
when you get those signal, those spam messages, that might be Pete.
It may be. I actually foresee Donald
We should
Trump
start calling him Tweet Hegseth.
getting irritated and firing Elon. Making Elon the fall guy, getting rid of Pete, making them the fall guy.
True.
Possibly getting rid of Marco Rubio because people have been coming with them and being these 3 are the worst, and I'm actually
If all 3 of them go into a room with JD Vance, who's going to come out alive?
all of them, because they don't care about that.
Yeah.
It's not a woman he needs to regulate, but so.
Oh wow!
I think that is where we are. I think Trump cares for himself. He
1,000%.
Yeah,
and these people are effing it up for him.
He's done more for Christianity and all religions than anybody, Miracle. Of course, he only cares about himself.
When you have the hierarchy, you tell your people don't f this up for me.
Yeah, don't screw the pooch.
And that is what they are doing.
Well, it's interesting because in the wake, on one hand, you have this report that Hegseth is going to be out, and then you have this other report that Elon Musk is saying he wants to leave. He wants to leave politics because he's tired of attacks from the left. when you've been the main one attack. But you have not seen Elon in a minute.
Yeah,
He's about to lose his tariff war because China basically said we're about to ban all these Teslas and kick him out of China.
China's spilling the tea about the bags.
China said,
China is a messy bitch.
China said, first of all, we've already been through colonization and we know how to prepare for it.
Yeah.
You Americans do not. And the funniest thing about China is with the Red Book app or the Red Note app and all these type of stuff, usually China is accused of censorship and all of these things. And they were like, we're not kicking Americans off of our platforms because now our people see how bad it is for Americans, and that y'all are not this land of milk and honey that we thought y'all were. Yeah. And literally, tourism to the United States is down. Investments to the United States is down.
Yeah.
These people are like, but like, America, you're on your own.
And
like
they
America,
said,
you in danger, girl, and nobody's
America
going to be
is the neighborhood
to come and support us and save us, but ourselves.
Yeah.
And last thing I'll say, I know more American citizens right now who are fleeing the country than immigrants.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I know people who are moving to Mexico.
Yes.
People are moving to Ireland. People are moving. There was this lady, she just did a whole series. She and her black family, they're moving to Thailand. People are moving to people are getting out of here.
Yes.
In droves.
Yes.
It's interesting because people have this perception, as Miracle just alluded to, about America globally. Right?
Yes.
That America lauds itself as, we have free speech, we have all these freedoms, we have all these liberties, you have these privileges in America. You don't. No. And especially in comparison to other developed nations,
right?
You really do not have the same amount of liberties and freedoms that these people experience and enjoy every other day of their lives across the globe. And now people are looking at America in the metaphor of a neighborhood and driving past it, rolling their windows up, locking their doors, and driving past America like, ooh, the ghetto.
Absolutely.
Like,
right.
Right.
Why would you want to come over here
absolutely not
and visit as a tourist if there's a possibility that you could be like arrested,
right?
Assaulted
just for stepping off of a plane,
thrown in an ICE facility. That's been happening to these people just for speaking a different language.
Just for and again, they stopped a white woman in San Diego, a German white woman in San Diego, detained her. Just because she was German.
It said
that's crazy. Like they don't care about white Germans. They don't care about nobody.
Yeah, it was like it was two teenagers. I think they were German. That was in Hawaii.
Yeah,
stopped and thrown in an ICE facility. So again, but it says
watch whiteness work.
It says that Musk is facing a code red moment because Tesla is falling, like Miracle mentioned. And so like this person said, Musk needs to get back to leave the government.
Was this one on your bingo card?
He would destroy his own company and his own self. No. Again, because I don't think we realize it's like, how like somebody like they won and the level of arrogance that they've demonstrated.
It was like Martell versus the Mountain in Game of Thrones.
Yes. And so right now, like they were so arrogant with it and laughing, and Elon Musk had his chainsaw, and if they were more subtle about it, like if Elon Musk like spoke to people like an adult and kind of like a lot of people do believe like there's government ways. Right. So if he would have laid it out in a way where he was like, this is what we're going to do. First, before we fire anybody, we're going to investigate. But they just start firing people. He's laughing at people. He's running around with a
sending
chainsaw.
Emails and shit.
Explain yourself. So it's like they were so arrogant in the face of this victory. Now, this is what we're going to do. We got carte blanche to do whatever we want. Now, everything is turning. And so I don't think they said Tesla, because of its being a political symbol of Trump administration Doge, it says potentially 20% permanent demand destruction of future Tesla. Worldwide now, people don't want Teslas because of this. So I don't think that they understood, one, like it was a close presidency race. It wasn't like Trump won by some huge landslide, even though that's what they said.
Yeah, it was like 47 to...
Yeah, it was close. Yeah. So I don't think they understood the backlash. I mean, it's protests every week. Thousands of people are showing up. I mean, again, like...
Elon in Pete, let me holler at you real quick, man. If you in the Oval Office or anywhere near the White House, and JD Vance says, "Have a seat."
Think twice.
Think twice.
Saying,
Man.
right. It's saying
Don't take a seat with JD Vance on the couch, man.
It's saying now Republican support as a whole is collapsing under Donald Trump. So now let's say now if people start showing up,
What does that look like though? Because to me, that's just empty words right now.
well, what's going to have to probably happen is Republicans that are challenging Donald Trump, and I don't even know if they are any. You know what I'm saying? We'll have to start winning.
Is this
Like,
Republican like support by the voter base or the actual by the voter base?
That like their own voter base is saying, because again, you see these town halls and people are saying like, yo, this isn't like what's happening is not due process. Like again, however you call it, if you're supposedly some Republican that supports the Constitution, you can't have a president just ignoring the Supreme Court.
Yes, you can.
I mean, again, that's the question is, do you love Donald Trump or do you love democracy, American democracy? Would be the question.
They both start with D.
But that would be the question, right? Do they start with D do they?
Pause, head Seth.
So that would be the question. And if that person, and so I think as we go further, but ultimately, if a person can't pay their rent, go to the store and get some food, take care of their home bills,
I do have a question.
They're going to turn on you,
and these are
regardless.
These are the people I want to talk to.
Yes,
the impoverished white people who actually make up the majority of impoverished people in America.
Yes.
Right. The overwhelming majority of impoverished people are white, and a lot of them live in kind of this area of Appalachia.
Yes.
And the Ozark area, which isn't terribly far from Appalachia.
Yes.
When you are facing levels of poverty beyond what you can even comprehend, where do you start to look for assistance? The government's not going to help you because they consider that governmental waste. So, like, all of your access to resources has been denied at every corner.
Hey, bro, I bet them checks are going to come soon. Remember they said Doge was going to, at this point, they got to do something.
They have to.
They have to, because like, it's slipping away very, very quickly.
That means, you know what that means? As soon as them people get their checks, fentanyl's about to go up. Methamphetamine purchases is going up.
Yeah.
Right? And then the opioid crisis becomes a conversation all over again because we know we know who's using that shit.
I mean, the wild part is like when the Homeland Security chief gets robbed. Like, how are you the head? You're the head of Homeland Security.
SecDev is out here giving out shit in a tweet. HomeSec gets robbed in the street. Like, just run up on it. Didn't respect.
Oh, you about to rap? Giving out stuff in the tweet.
Actually, yo, I'm about to put a freestyle like that. Yeah,
getting robbed in the street.
That's just kind of fire.
That shit is deep.
Man, and Trump out here pushing P.
Yeah.
Pushing Pope.
Yeah.
Or was that JD Vance?
I mean, Trump said he did more for Christianity.
It says the Homeland Security Secretary, and it's like, does she have security with her?
Oh, clearly not.
She was eating dinner.
Maybe the security's the one that robbed her
at a downtown DC restaurant, and it said she was robbed. Her badge, her driver's license, medication, apartment keys, passport, DHS excess badge, makeup bag, blank checks, and $3,000 in cash.
As someone who's had their passport stolen, that shit is scary.
I mean, again, you got people jumping over the governor's residence in PA.
Yeah.
Hey, man.
Nobody's safe. Welcome to America. Nobody's safe. That should be,
That's the title?
Welcome.
I mean, that's how it's looking.
Nobody's safe here, man. No couches.
That's how it's
the
crazy.
Pope ain't safe.
It's crazy.
Ain't nobody safe in JD Vance and Trump's America.
Now, it's also interesting. I thought that like all of a sudden, like Target is starting to meet with like the black leaders. I thought that was fascinating too.
I mean, they met with the wrong black leaders.
Well, no, they met with Al Sharpton, but they also met with Tamika Mallory.
Well, who didn't they meet with?
Pastor Jamal Bryant.
Who didn't they meet with?
Who didn't they meet with?
Dr. Umar.
Stop. Well, But Dr. Umar doesn't have a constituency, and that's one of the
That
things
shops at Target.
about Dr. Umar.
Dr. Umar is not
doesn't
selling
have-
anything at Target.
He got shaved by the Twitter.
I mean, Dr. Umar's a meme at this point. I mean, again, like, bro, do your thing, whatever. Yes. So I did think that was interesting. A statement was put out by Tamika Mallory, Jamal Bryant, Nina Turner, and their organizations met with Target, and they said continue to boycott, continue to add pressure. I saw it was a brother that said not only are the black people, but they got the Latino freeze on Target as well. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to our brown boy. And Target has lost $12 billion.
That's crazy. That's actually crazy.
You know what I'm saying? So again, I think that's interesting. So all of this
is this on par with the Alabama bus boycott? Would you put these two?
I think so. I think remember the Alabama bus boycott was like over a year, right?
Yeah.
And I think that this has been maybe like 3 months, possibly, and it's getting longer. And
is it?
We're going to have coming up on the C4. One of the people who was a retailer who was selling in Target, she's going to talk about like how the community's been holding her down, been having pop-ups. People have had to learn how to go buy direct from the seller. And so just getting this idea that, you don't maybe if you don't go to a store anymore, you may have to wait 2 to 3 days to get, a new pair of jeans or something. And so the world that as we know it is changing, and people are having to get used to boycotting. They're not gonna have to get used to like planning out shopping trips, like our parents, and grandparents, like had to do to go and get things, because Target just said Target could have rebranded. They could have said we're getting
100%.
rid of this DEI, but we're keeping our retailers, and we're announcing new collaborative partnerships. So if you've never been able to sell items, this is how you do it. But instead, they just threw away. And we didn't call Target for like decades for you to just like throw
100%.
us away.
Like that. I live literally 3 walking blocks away from Target and have not been there. Like, I mean, the most convenient place for me to go get my stuff is Target. But this was part of the statement from We Are Somebody Until Freedom. They said, over the weekend, the 3 of us met with Target leadership, and our takeaway is this: Target is feeling the power of our communities and wants to boycott the end. However, we believe that Target CEO Brian Cornell remains unaware of the betrayal felt by our communities due to his company's decision to cower to the Trump administration. Diverse, equitable, and inclusive work environment should be the hallmark of any company and or government. It should be a source of pride. We are recommitting to our demands and are announcing a renewed vision moving forward. So, I mean, again, it sounds like, does
Target sell couches?
That would be a question for somebody else, sir. You know what I'm saying? That'd be a question for somebody else.
Ask the vice president.
Ironically, here in Pittsburgh, we had kind of a Trump-like political moment.
Yeah.
Where, in Pittsburgh, we have a black mayor who is running for re-election right now. Mm-hmm. And his opponent has gotten support from people that supported Donald Trump. And different other Republicans in the past have thrown their money behind our, progressive black mayor's Republican challenger. And they put this mailer out where it basically was like, this is, and our mayor, Ed Gainey, this is Ed Gainey's Pittsburgh. And it showed like a rundown building, like in the hood. A lot of people felt like that was a very racist piece. But not only that, what's surprising is that this actual picture, the property that was pictured, was actually rehabbed, made to look better under the Gainey administration.
People living there currently.
Right. So, Miracle, did you want to just talk a little bit about what happened? And again, like how, we've seen this politically, particularly when the candidate is black. We've seen mailers where, and apparently this person who sent these mailers to the group has sent mailers about Summer Lee, our congresswoman, who was the first black congresswoman in Pennsylvania, lies about her. We've seen a history of candidates being made to look darker but the connotation that this black mayor who's been mayor for 3 years is responsible for all the blight in the hood in Pittsburgh is such a ridiculous connotation, but was something that was put out there by his opponent.
Yes, so multiple truths can happen all at one time, right?
Yes.
You can talk about the need for investment and building up the city of Pittsburgh
Correct.
without being anti-black. This particular home was rehabbed either prior to Gainey or had some rehabilitation that happened under Gainey, right?
Right.
But the issue with the flyer in particular is the front of the flyer is that the back of the flyer attacks all black women on the back of the flyer.
Oh, that's
and
true.
black people on the flyer. It talks about the mayor's wife, who was a black woman.
Right.
It talks about 2 black women who won awards and contracts through a competitive RFP process.
Right.
And then it talks about the people who are doing the health and the administrative support within the city of Pittsburgh, all black women. The 5th floor of the mayor's office is not only all black women.
Right.
So there are people you could have talked about and issues you could have talked about
True.
on that flyer that did not encompass black women, number one. So this idea that just because you don't mention race on the flyer that you are not talking about race is wrong.
Right.
And that's why we call it a dog whistle. And the fact that you are talking about the dilapidation when literally it is up to the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania legislature to pass legislation so that we can knock down blighted buildings, and you don't bring that up as a problem. These mailers
Yeah.
are intended to depress black voters.
Yes.
It was allegedly sent to black neighborhoods by this independent expenditure campaign, as to say that all the mayor does is steal money and hire black people with the money he has stolen, when in reality these are companies that are ran by black women who have won RFPs outside of Pennsylvania,
Right.
who have held and created events all around the country and won through a competitive contract, number one.
Yeah.
Number two, it forgoes the idea that the city of Pittsburgh has been under attack even before the Gainey administration, and what people had to do was to consolidate resources, and so a lot of industries actually came under the city of Pittsburgh so that they could stay.
Right.
So this idea that money has been stolen and misappropriated is incorrect, and if you actually go to the city-county hearings, they talked about that. They
Yeah.
talked about how they restructured and moved things around, and this is unnecessary.
Right.
You can run a whole entire campaign without being negative and without being racist.
Right.
This is something that has been going on intentionally for over 2 years. People forget the first thing that happened under the Gainey administration was that somehow miraculously Republicans said that if you do this study, this income study, and you give money to black women, we will sue you. The same people that stopped the fund in Atlanta, right? And so the mayor has always been under attack for the fact that he supported black women, but the fact that he put that on a mailer,
Right.
and the fact that people are too chicken shit to call it out,
Right.
and to stand up for black women in Pittsburgh. And this also came the week of the Black Maternal Health Week,
Yes.
when we were talking about how
Come on,
Pennsylvania
Miracle Cook.
is literally killing black women.
Right.
This was intentional. It was malicious,
Right.
and it was designed as a reminder that black women, you are not safe, protected, or respected in Pittsburgh.
Right.
And that is why this mailer was so problematic. People lie about politicians all the time, right? It's part of the game. But you attack somebody's wife.
Yeah.
You attack black women who won fair contracts.
Yeah.
And instead of saying, you know what, I don't like the mayor because I want him to do this.
Right.
I don't like the mayor because I want him to do that. Instead of putting that on the flyer
Right.
and running for your candidate, you want to be dirty and ugly and nasty and disgusting.
But also put like Ed Gainey's legacy on a building that has actually been rehabbed. Like to actually show a building in its disrepaired state when currently it's rehabbed and occupied. So like even the fact that you put this building on it is not his legacy because he actually rehabbed the building.
This reminds me of-
And my last thing, it is the legacy of the white people who ran the city of Pittsburgh, who literally took a vote and said if we get rid of the Hill District, it will be of no great loss to the city. It is the legacy of people who put in redlining. It's the legacy of people who didn't give a damn about the Hill District until they thought Amazon was coming and then decided, okay, maybe we should invest in this area and maybe we should have housing and supports in this area. And it erases the work of black women like Marimba and the Hill District group who are trying to rebuild and invite in and build up the Hill District. It is anti-black, it is anti-woman, and it needs to end and it needs to stop, and more people need to stand on it and call this operative out. This man has been doing this for years, and it was Summer. It was because Summer needed to prove herself.
Right.
When it was all these other people, because they needed to prove themselves.
Right.
Nobody else is doing this. The worst Corey Mailer and the worst Corey Ad is not even attacking him in this manner. It is talking about the meetings he has had with Republicans, specifically because they do not want to support a progressive agenda. It has not been personal about his identity or his race. And the fact that people think it's okay because it's just a black mayor and black people are used to it, it's absolutely ridiculous.
Right. And then it's also the connotation because, like, I've never heard of it like in reverse. Like, oh, this white mayor made some deal, or like when a white man or white people go through a competitive process and win, it's never questioned, right? They always win because they're excellent or whatever. And for full transparency, we as a group were part of this as One Hood Media, this comprehensive plan. And to go through this comprehensive plan process, it's not just One Hood Media, it is other groups that participated, not all black owned groups, right?
Yep.
That came together and said, okay, we're going to throw our hat into this comprehensive plan. Was an open process. We had to be interviewed. We had to do all this background stuff. And when we got to when we were awarded or selected, ironically, the only two names that people had an issue with was One Hood Media and Brown Mamas. Yeah. Because we wanted to get engagement from these communities, which is really, really weird to me. We're an organization that has been here for 20 years doing nothing but positive things we have a track record of positivity in Pittsburgh for 20 years. And so, why shouldn't we be a part of making sure that young people are engaged when we have this track record? But it doesn't matter because it's a black-led organization. Now, all of a sudden, you have a problem with it. But if it was a white-owned organization, it would go under the radar. This was voted on by city council, and they voted for this comprehensive process.
And Kahari removed himself because he was a conflict. So he couldn't even say it was because we put someone on council, even though we were conflicted out of his race and didn't even work. Didn't even work in his district that year when he was running. And I also want to talk about nepotism. Let's be very clear.
Yes.
That agreement with UPMC was meant to support One Pittsburgh, which was meant to hire a bunch of people from the previous mayor's administration. So if we want to talk about nepotism, why are we not talking about when we're talking about these deals that people were trying to cut so they could pay their own pockets to put up their own vision? Why is it when we try to make a reflective democracy where we invite everybody, and the reason we had an RFP process is because the city controller said she was worried that too many contracts were going to be awarded to people who never got contracts before. So the mayor said, okay, bet I'm gonna do an RFP process. Anybody who wants to come to do work with the city, you all have to apply. You all have to go to the same process. And then when we still win, when we don't have DEI, when we don't have nepotism, when we put out really good applications, Why are we still under attack? Nobody has asked to see the RFPs. Nobody has asked to see the application and the processes. Nobody has asked to compare it with the other applications. All you do is attack it because it's black people. And that is the problem. When the last, when it was at the Allegheny County Council, and it was nothing but black people who were being questioned about what they were doing and how, it was like, oh, that's just the Republican. That's just the Republican and how he is. Now that we have Democrats doing the same thing, it's crickets. No one wants to, well, it's just a race and it's competitive and that's just how it is.
Right.
At what point is it going to be, okay, this bigotry has to stop. This anti-blackness has to stop. At the end of the day, I have not even been involved in front-facing politics for over a year and a half just so y'all couldn't say you weren't showing up and supporting because I was there, and you still are not showing up, and you still are not speaking out, and you still are not engaging, so you have no excuse. And it's just absolutely ridiculous that this is democracy that we need right now to fight fascism. And instead of fighting fascism, and instead of talking about policies, you want to go to the lowest common denominator of anti-blackness in order to win a race that is already competitive. And what are you going to do on May 21st when it doesn't work? What are you going to do on November 6th when it doesn't work? And all you've done is push out people to engage the system that we need to protect us from this fascist government.
Well, also, if it does work, then obviously, I'm not going to be included. It's, again, I think when you have people in the city who have dedicated their lives to making Pittsburgh a better place. Remember, this is a city that was called the worst city in America for a black woman to live. The study was done under the former mayor. So when you have that, and when you have people who have said, I could be anywhere in the country, but I'm going to be here because I want to make Pittsburgh a better, more inviting place for everybody. And then you get it thrown back in your face as if you're doing something wrong. It's when our work it's been documented, our work has made crime drop, right? And instead of somebody saying yo, man, you could have just stayed home and done nothing. We could be rapping, we could be doing a bunch of other stuff, right?
I mean, we're doing that too.
Yeah, but we stepped up to try to make our city better, to make our communities better. What you say we should be doing in the first place. And then when we do that, we get attacked for that. So we get attacked for not doing anything, and then we get attacked for actually doing something that's progressive and positive. So that's when it gets really tricky, because then it's okay, oh, well, you don't want people like me in this city. So then now it's oh, well, we got to actually look for other places to be, because despite the track record that we have of doing positive things in the city, we're not welcome here. Our work is not welcome here. Our efforts is not welcome here. I think that's when it gets tricky. You know what I'm saying? Because if you do, you're going to need people to help execute your vision. And if I see myself as not part of this, again, look at how Trump's whole thing is falling apart. He ran on this anti-DEI stuff. And so it is wild to see a quote unquote Democrat, a quote unquote progressive, use the same Trump tactics, anti-DEI tactics. And it's oh, so obviously you're going to be somebody that is not going to protect us from this man and his attitude and what he's doing, because you're using the same tactics as him to get elected. So that's what's fascinating about this whole thing. So we would say, one, educate yourself about the process. And two, we would say for any candidate, run on your own merits. You know what I'm saying? Like there are things that our mayor can be criticized for, and there are things that his opponent can be criticized for. But to try to criticize, we're not criticizing him because of his upbringing or who his parents or his family was or what part of the city that he grew up in. And that's that. But unfortunately, that's where we are in politics now. And people saw how Donald Trump used those attacks with no real plan to win the presidency. And
concepts of a plan.
And look how that shit turned out.
Yeah.
And so do we want the same thing for our city? It's crazy. It's crazy. So we're way over our White pages. Ready for revolution.
You're welcome.
White folks probably should read.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Ready for Revolution, the life and struggles of Stokely Carmichael, also known as Kwame Ture. It says, be prepared to revise your understanding of civil rights. For those, if you never heard the name Stokely Carmichael or Kwame Ture, you should just read this book off of that. Stokely Carmichael is the most courageous and consistent black revolutionary of his generation. Long live his spirit. Those were words from Cornel West. And so, yeah, it's we getting ready. I mean, it's been protests after. I don't know if there's another protest coming up, but it's been protest after protest. You know what I'm saying? So
absolutely,
we are getting ready. With that being said, final comments and words. Miracle.
Be better. Do better.
Yes. And this Friday.
Oh yeah, Pittsburgh is burning. There is going to be a clothing swap and ball hosted by a Reflective Democracy associate. Ethan is going to be here at our space at the Black Box 460 Melwood this Friday. Bring in your clothing from, I believe, from 5 to 6 p.m. And then the ball starts like right at 6. Come out. There's a lot of Earth Day events happening, but Pittsburgh is burning. It's one of ours, and we have a caterer. So we have vegan food, we have vegetarian food, we have gluten-free food. We got food for everybody. So make sure you come out. The Paris is burning this. Pittsburgh is burning, which is created after the movie Paris is Burning, which is a documentary about the ball culture. It's the lovely, amazing, must-see documentary, late 80s, early 90s. So make sure you just come and support us this Friday.
Absolutely. Anything you got going on, Trouble?
Just never lose sight. Man.
Never lose sight. Farouk?
Stay the fuck away from JD Vance's couch.
That being said, peace. This week in White Supremacy. One hood.